Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, you are watching a special edition of 17 News.
Good afternoon, and thanks for joining us for a special edition of 17 News. I'm Karen Hua, and tonight we want to focus on positivity. As journalists, we realize 2020 has been filled with so much bad news, from wildfires to civil unrest and, of course, COVID-19. So we want to highlight the good news of the year, silver linings and stories of resiliency. Here's a look back at a few of my favorites. We begin tonight with our coverage of the Ridgecrest earthquakes, hit by magnitude 6.4 and 7.1 earthquakes in July 2019. 6 months later, I went back to see how they were recovering. My first stop was a church that sustained damage. After the earthquakes hit, people turned toward their faith to rebuild and recover.
2 earthquakes and we survived. The whole Ridgecrest, city of Ridgecrest was shaken. People fled their town.
For many in Ridgecrest, it's been 6 months of fear.
A 9.0 could hit and we could die, but our hope is in Jesus.
So in times of fear, many turn toward their faith.
Let's stand to worship.
At Calvary Chapel,
Well, most of the damage was sustained up here on the stage.
their place of worship was shaken.
When the roof pulled away from the walls and fell, the county restricted us from holding services in here until we got that fixed, and it took about 2 months to get it fixed.
But they were given an even greater reason to believe when donations poured in from strangers around the country.
I'm telling you, when I opened that first check, it's always from LA, and the amount wasn't that much, but to know that other people want to help us, I mean, I almost came to tears.
More than $11,000 arrived.
It moved me. It really did. And then more came in, and I just thought, Lord, you are so good.
Their story is another testament to how Ridgecrest still stands strong.
Not a single person died in Ridgecrest. He shook us, but he did not kill us.
We first met Bridget Scoggin after the magnitude 7.1 earthquake, right after she lost her home. We checked in on her 6 months later, then 1 year in the aftermath.
I was inside the house when it collapsed to the side.
After the earthquakes, Bridget Scoggin wasn't alone.
There's 30 mobile homes here in this park alone that went down, and people had to sign it over.
The community came to her rescue. The Ridgecrest Lions Club and Grace Lutheran Church got her an RV.
Thank you.
Finally, a roof over her head. But hard times shook her again.
My RV flooded the night of Mother's Day, and so basically I was homeless again.
That's when she found her beacon of hope, this mobile home right across from her first at Truesdale Estates.
It is a mobile, and still the fear of the earthquakes tipping me over again.
1 year later, her first home still sits there, unfixed, unoccupied, in direct view from her window.
Living across from mine, it's a reminder every single day.
A reminder of the constant trauma she and others face.
There's still a lot of people that make fun of us that have PTSD over it. Well, I didn't feel it. You're over-exaggerating. Okay. That's fine, you didn't feel it, but we did.
Recovery will take time, more than just a year. But Bridget will keep fighting to triumph over her tragedy. Now, the Ridgecrest earthquake impacted more than just the people living in the area. I had the chance to visit the only animal shelter open during the July earthquakes to see how they handled the natural disaster.
Come here, Lucky. Good boy. Hi, Luna. You want to come out?
It's been a rough road for these two.
She purrs really nice.
A pit mix and a cat abandoned during the 4th of July earthquakes.
When the earthquake started and the fireworks combined, we ended up opening 24/7.
Almost Eden Rescue in Ridgecrest picked them up during the chaotic holiday weekend.
We were the only thing that was open for a 2-hour drive in any direction.
The rescue received so many animals, they were forced to expand from their main facility.
We have a warehouse. Yeah, this is it.
They called it the Ark.
We were getting about easily 50 dogs a day, plus cats, plus rabbits that were lost, misplaced, hurt. Good boy.
Almost all the animals were eventually reunited with their owners or adopted out. But at the end of the flood, the Ark had just 2 left. Lucky and Luna.
He doesn't know that he's not wanted. And yes, and they get lots of loves and lots of visits.
The community has since come together to their rescue.
The washer and dryer were donated to us. Cat food and dog food, more dog food. Fencing, the wood fencing back here was put up by the community. Very touched.
Making this a happy tale for Lucky and Luna.
And so is he. Just so much was done. And I love Ridgecrest.
Now, not only did the earthquakes rock Ridgecrest's economy, coronavirus shook things up some more. I checked in on small businesses there to see how they've stayed positive.
This building moving back and forth like this, I just feel like this will fall off.
Han Jernales fled Vietnam nearly 50 years ago. She found refuge in Ridgecrest.
73 I come here, and after I come here, the communists took over. But this country, so far, thank God, not like that.
Now let's cut to the chase. She's since achieved her American dream. So when coronavirus struck after the earthquakes, local business owners like Han were shaken.
Oh, it's like getting hit tenfold.
In Ridgecrest, with population 34,000, there have been fewer than 50 cases so far. It was a scramble for businesses to stay open.
The businesses that were struggling, people continued to purchase from them, whether it was gift cards.
But 2 restaurants were forced to permanently close: Casey's Steakhouse and Triple T's Tavern.
How do you shut down for 6 or 8 weeks and say it didn't hurt me? It did, and it does, and it continues to.
Non-essential businesses like salons were hurt the most. They trimmed their budgets. Now they're brushing off the past since they're allowed to reopen.
Like from the earthquake, we're strong people.
I'm worried, but not that much, because money not everything.
Now this small-town America is planning a big-time comeback.
I've been here for 38 years, and a lot of people, they already know me.
Now still to come on 17 News.
We're going to take care of them. That's what we do up here. Food, we'll get them some food. We'll give them as much money as we can possibly all spare, and clothes, and they'll rebuild. We'll be all right.
We look at one man's story as the Stagecoach fire forced him to leave behind his home and family.
Attention pain sufferers, if you have back, knee, foot, wrist, neck, or even joint pain caused by arthritis, then you need to call the number on your screen and talk to Pain Relief Solutions. Our friendly agents will tell you about your options for pain relief. If you have Medicare or private insurance, we have programs that may cover the supplies you need to get pain relief at little or no cost to you. Call right now so you can get your pain relief solutions fast. We're available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to help you with your pain relief needs.
Every child needs a hero, but abused children need a superhero.
CASA of Kern County's Superhero Run is going virtual.
Throughout the month of October, you can support local foster youth by dusting off your cape and dressing like a superhero.
Sign up for the 10K, 5K, or 2K Run Walk.
And every runner receives a one-of-a-kind medal, cape or t-shirt, and swag bag.
Sign up at kerncasa.org.
That's kerncasa.org. Woo!
Thank you, Domino, for helping us get back to business.
Domino Plastics offers hundreds of different designs, sizes, and materials. Everything is customized to fit your unique needs.
Thank you, Domino, for helping us get back to business.
Working together to keep Kern safe.
Here's the picture David Valadeo wants you to see. But in Congress, Valadeo voted with Donald Trump over Valley families 99% of the time. Valadeo supported Trump's plan to gut protections for people with pre-existing conditions, eliminate health coverage for thousands of Valley families, even backed what AARP called an age tax on older Americans, siding with Donald Trump over California families, showing us who he really is. DCCC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Now, back in August, the Stagecoach fire burned nearly 8,000 acres. I spent time with firefighters as they struggled to battle the flames, but they still saved several homes. Thanks to them, this family salvaged everything they had.
I've been all over the world in the military and a lot of the states, and I'm 55, and this is my favorite place that I've been. I like the community.
Ron Lefevre and his family moved to Walker Basin 17 years ago. They built everything from the ground up. The house, deck, pool, suspension bridge, barn.
Down there in the barn we have 2 alpacas, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and Lady Gaga.
His family, consisting of 2 alpacas, 2 chickens, 2 dogs, and 2 cats. Each year he's used to wildfire threats. But he soon saw the Stagecoach fire creeping too close for comfort.
We haven't had anything this close, for sure.
And then firefighters showed up, recommending he evacuate.
I just hoped.
So he fled, forced to even leave behind most of his animals, not knowing if he'd see any of this ever again.
It really didn't get emotional till I got to downtown, till I got to the hotel.
But then a spark of hope. Kern County firefighters personally called him, telling him his home was safe.
The 3 firefighters that defended my house were professional, calm, which calmed me.
As for his neighbors, homeowners who weren't as fortunate,
we're going to take care of them. That's what we do up here. Food, we'll get them some food, we'll get them as much money as we can possibly all spare, and clothes, and they'll rebuild. We'll be all right.
From the ashes, they'll rise again.
The community, my neighbors, the peace, quiet, the Saturday barbecue.
So heartwarming. So still to come on this special edition of 17 News.
It's easy to forget that you're talking about human beings. You're talking about people with the same aspirations, the same goals, the same dreams that we all have.
How a team of local doctors are helping the homeless on their own dime. Just ahead.
Popkern with 17's Karen Wah. Fun, exciting adventures. Pop online anytime. Popkern's exclusive sponsor is Bakersfield Heart Hospital.
I'm David Valadeo, and I approve this message.
Over $1 million missing from a charity for children. An official city audit of a foundation run by T.J. Cox said over $1 million could not be accounted for. The audit documented unethical spending and suspicious personal loans involving Cox. News reports said federal agents were conducting a criminal investigation. No wonder T.J. Cox is considered the single most corrupt member of Congress.
Right now at Sleep More, inside More Furniture for Less, you'll get great savings on premium Stearns & Foster mattresses.
For a limited time, get 10% off and a free bed, free sofa, free entertainment center, or free sofa bar table with 3 stools with your Stearns & Foster purchase.
Choose the fit that's right for you with the latest in sleep technology, guaranteed to give you your best night's rest.
Hurry in for an additional 10% savings and free furniture. Only at Sleep More, inside More Furniture for Less.
17 News is your official Las Vegas Raiders station in the Golden Empire. Thursdays on 17 News at 5. Catch Raiders Inside the Slant. Player profiles with game previews. Raiders Inside the Slant. Presented by Dignity Health, Mercy and Memorial Hospitals.
When you've been injured on the job, it's important to know all of the benefits that you're entitled to. Don't trust the insurance company to protect you and your family. It's way too important. Barry Smith and Bartell, bringing justice to injured workers.
Sugar Daddy
Daddies believes you are defined by your craving for individualism and style, not by your age. Sugar Daddies, 5512 Stockdale Highway next to Home Goods. Call 325-8300.
Sugar Daddies, Sugar Daddies, Sugar Daddies.
Welcome back. While the city of Bakersfield waited for a new low barrier shelter, how did the homeless get much needed medical attention? Well, there was a team at local nonprofit Clinica Sierra Vista hitting the streets to care for this vulnerable population.
Hey, good morning, man. How are you?
Tucked away in southeast Bakersfield.
How long has this been going on?
About a week.
Living in the shadows.
Any fevers that you've noticed?
It's an unlikely place for a medical clinic.
I can send it to a pharmacy if you have insurance. If not,
These cotton gins are abandoned by the rest of Bakersfield, but frequented by the street medicine team from Clinica Sierra Vista.
giving out condoms, syringe exchange, hygiene kits. We try to provide dog food.
Every Thursday morning, they hit the streets, walking miles by the river in Oildale, looking under bridges, checking in on routine patients.
A lot of wound care, a lot of infectious disease, things like hepatitis C, HIV, syphilis, that's very prevalent in the community.
All of the care, free.
I think they actually gone above and beyond.
And the key to the team's success,
building relationships with this population so they know that we'll be there the next week and we can provide the services that we have been providing. It's good to see you. Yeah.
like with CJ, who fell on hard times after his mom died.
Statistically, the life expectancy of someone who's unsheltered is about a third of that of someone who is sheltered, and that's a significant risk to immediate well-being.
It's a problem plaguing all of California, widespread homelessness.
Housing is very important. The city of Bakersfield, the county of Kern, we're addressing housing, but we must address the root issues: substance abuse, mental health.
It's striking to me that the population feels like they're sort of invisible, even though they're our neighbors and they've been in our communities for years now.
All of this done on the team's own time, on the clinic's own dime.
We have funding for emergency shelters, but we need reform in the Medi-Cal system so that we can actually address some of the root issues and make substantial long-term systemic changes.
In the meantime, short-term change comes with compassion.
It's easy to forget that you're talking about human beings. You're talking about people with the same aspirations, the same goals, the same dreams that we all have, and they've just been marginalized and set aside and seen as almost subhuman.
I want to see a fulfillment to my own personal research, but I want to invent for people.
Dr. Baer hopes other local doctors will take the initiative to start their own street medicine teams.
So you always got to have hope. Hope's part of love. If you got love in you, you got hope.
And now an update on that story. That much needed low barrier shelter has since been built. It opened in May with a capacity of 150 beds for Bakersfield's homeless population. And now coming up next on 17 News, one mother's story about her son's struggles with autism and the medication that's changed his life. Stay with us.
As a waitress, you're running all over the place. Well, if you have a 4 or 6 hour shift and you're in pain the whole time, that seems like an eternity. I was just aching. My feet were throbbing. I was just genuinely hurting. I kind of lost hope. And then I saw the Good Feet store and I decided to stop in. When I went in there, that's when everything changed. My name is Kristen, and that's my Good Feet story.
See for yourself with a free personalized arch support fitting at the Good Feet store.
What sets Dance Nation apart from other dance studios is there's just like this sense of happiness, like when you walk in. We all are friends here. Michelle B listens to you as a dancer. She listens to your goals and she tries her very best to get you there. They are all supportive. They will never judge you. All that matters is having fun and dance and to be free. If you have a dream, go for it. Dance Nation has it all.
$1, $2, $1 taco. Call me crispy. I want it spicy. I want a crispy chicken taco and I want it with you. At Del Taco, with Cholula. It only costs $1, so give me two. Come on and say Del, yeah.
Crank
Wake up the awesome with the Cholula Crispy Chicken Taco, our newest crispy chicken taco for only $1 at Dale Taco. Dale, yeah.
Carpet Outlet Plus. Every day is sale day.
Dad, look, he dumped his water bowl all over the new floors.
Everything is fine. We have brand new waterproof floors from Carpet Outlet Plus. You can find everything you need for family-proof floor at Bakersfield's best flooring store. Now offering 1 year, no interest financing. Carpet Outlet Plus, 3.5 blocks west of 99 on Rosedale Highway.
Every day is sale day.
Welcome back. This week, Kern was allowed to finally move out of the purple, most restrictive tier. But that doesn't change things for bars, which still have a long road ahead to reopen. So they've gotten creative to keep their tabs open. It's been 6 months since Guthrie's Alley Cat has seen the light of day.
This is our 80-year anniversary this year. This is not exactly the anniversary we're expecting to have.
What used to be a bustling strip of bars downtown is now boarded up. The fate of historic watering holes like this, uncertain.
This is the alley that I grew up seeing as a kid. You see people at their best, you see them at their worst, their happiest, their saddest. Oh my goodness, they turn the line off.
Because they might stay closed for a few more months.
I get we are super spreaders. It's hard to tell drunk people to stop hugging each other.
While Guthrie's has been selling merch and to-go cocktails to survive, they're hoping for a shot at opening outdoors in the next few weeks, trying to salvage 80 years of history, because that's an alley they'd prefer not to go down.
I just feel like the quicker we cooperate and move forward together as a community, the quicker we can get through this.
They hope other businesses who've ignored the orders to close won't stop the county as a whole from moving out of this tier.
We could be in a worse situation. Like, I just thank our lucky stars for what we do have.
So they trust that this old cat has got a few more lives to live, and COVID won't be their last call. Now, more in health news in Kern County. Back in January, I took a look at CBD. It's a key ingredient in cannabis that's been touted for its health benefits, but it's also raised some controversy. Wyatt Laramie can be a typical teenager. Playing music, playing sports.
You like sports? What kind of sports?
Annoying his mom.
You're gonna get mad? Okay, calm down, calm down. You're okay.
But it takes him a little while to get there.
Yes or no? Do you want some CBD?
I said yes.
Okay, all right.
Now 15, Wyatt was diagnosed with autism as a baby.
There you go.
His mom, Diana, has tried almost everything to help him communicate and come out of his shell.
There you are.
Classes, medication, even considering stem cell research. But nothing has worked quite like CBD.
I gave it to him after school one day, and it was the next day, it was completely different. He started speaking more than 6 words in one sentence. It was 8 words, and it was 2 different sentences combined together.
CBD, or cannabis oil, was legalized in all 50 states in 2018. It's derived from hemp, a cousin of the marijuana plant.
He was more than socializing. He was really coming out of his box, and that's when I thought that is amazing that it came from a plant.
But it's not without its stigma.
We are all wearing clothing that came from cotton. So why should we be so afraid of a little plant? I think that there's a lot more chemicals out there that are very harmful that would actually hurt him that are completely legal.
Wyatt takes a teaspoon of CBD-infused honey 3 times a day, a dosage Diana found through experimentation.
It not being available for medical and a proper dosage is unrealistic.
That's because CBD is not approved by the FDA, so doctors can't prescribe it. Kern Public Health can't endorse it.
When you have a child that is suffering from something, you want to find something that's going to help them. And when you have a child with special needs, you're going to go to the ends of the earth to find something that's going to help them.
And it's affordable because Wyatt needs it in small doses.
I do feel that $25 a month to get my son, to give him his life, I think it's a dream.
It's effective, but not as cost-effective for some people in chronic pain.
Every day is a challenge, you know, literally walking, talking.
Richard Abraham Rugnow needs a much higher dose.
under my tongue. And this oil gives me instant relief.
He can spend up to $200 on CBD products every month. Insurance doesn't cover it.
I've been suffering with this pain due to my hips for 2 years now. I mean, I was taking pain meds to help me fall asleep, to get me through the day.
So he looked for a more homeopathic method.
Because I own my own company, I have to be on. And so CBD has given me the opportunity to, quite frankly, function.
He says it changed his life.
And it's not foolproof. I'm still in pain, but I don't have the same sort of lingering effects of taking prescribed meds. I don't wake up groggy. I don't feel mentally out of it.
CBD is largely unregulated, so the amount actually in a product may not be the amount claimed on the package.
Do your research first. Don't just go into a spot that says CBD and think that the person who's selling you the product knows what they're selling.
This risk of counterfeits may be a result of CBD's growing popularity.
I see it becoming a day-to-day thing in all households, just like people use Tylenol, aspirin, things like that. It's a natural supplement.
Those who use it are fighting to make it more widely accepted.
Some of the common misconceptions are that CBD will, show up on a drug test, or that it is actually psychoactive, that people will get high from it, which are all not true.
Until the FDA gets on board, there may always be these misconceptions, misdosages, and lack of regulations. But for some, trial and error is okay for now. Stick with us. We'll be right back.
Vote by mail in Kern County is underway.
You have the opportunity to fill out your ballot
and mail it in to cast your vote. Visit KGET.com to find out how ballot tracks can help you.
All ballots must be postmarked by November 3rd.
It's your choice how you vote.
17 News is your local election headquarters.
My brother made his decision that he no longer wanted to be in the hospital anymore. I knew one person who worked at Optimal. She came in and Optimal took care of everything. I didn't have to worry about anything, from the cost of anything to actually bringing my brother back home with all the machines and equipment that he needed, all the medical devices. And the nurses, they just put me at ease. They just asked me what we wanted, when we wanted it, how we wanted it, and they provided everything. They took care of everything for me. I had not one worry.
The ones who always come when you call. The dedicated few you can rely on every day. Those you can always count on in a pinch. The tried and the true. Here's to reliability built into everything we do. Rely on Root.
For reliable comfort this winter, call Stockdale Air, proudly serving Kern County for over 40 years.
Do you worry about going to the dentist? After all, a visit to the dentist can easily cost $2,000 or more. Well, relax. The Carefree Dental Card is now available in your area. Call now and we'll send your actual card at no cost today. With the Carefree Dental Card, you go to the dentist whenever you need and you instantly pay a lot less. Activate your card and you can start using it immediately. From exams and cleanings to more expensive procedures like crowns, dentures, even braces, they're all included with the Carefree Dental Card. Say you go to the dentist today without any card and your bill is, well, ouch. Wait a minute, let's try that again. You go to the dentist today and show your Carefree Dental Card, you save $525. The Carefree Dental Card is just $15.95 a month and everyone in your household can use the same card.
To get your free dental card information kit, call the number on your screen now and find out about the free vision and pharmacy coverage.
This is important news for men who have taken Viagra, Cialis, or Levitra and then suffered from the skin cancer melanoma. According to a new study, the use of Viagra and other ED drugs may increase the risk of men developing a serious form of skin cancer known as melanoma. Call the law offices of Davis & Crump right now. Our first consultation is free, and we don't get paid unless you get paid. Call now. Operators are standing by.
You're watching 17 News, your local news leader.
Now, one of the most special people I've met on assignment is Anthony Rodriguez. He loves to play the drums, and although Anthony was born blind, he doesn't let his lack of sight get in the way.
So I had been playing drums ever since I was 2. I love everything about music and just being alive.
but he was a drummer without a drum set to call his own. So this gifted musician received a gift from his community. Strata Credit Union pulled out all the bells and whistles for a wish submitted by activist Dolores Huerta. Anthony was gifted a 7-piece Gretsch Catalina maple drum set, and the drummer was speechless. Well, thank you so much for spending some time with us. I hope this uplifted your spirits this weekend. Have a good night.